So how about we all just pretend that this is the first time I've ever restarted this, and this is our second attempt. Now, I would never lie to you and say that it started off great when it actually started off quite shit. But I like to believe that it started off great, because it makes me feel better about myself. We immediately run into a barbarian outpost with our beloved warrior units, and then immediately run into a very first city-state. Keyword being first, because for some reason, I am surrounded by city-states. I believe at the end of this, exploration attempt, we'll say, I encounter 5 different city-states. So that's absolutely lovely. But we continue to try and take over the barbarian outpost with the help of our new city-state neighbours. And we actually end up doing it relatively well. Little damage to the warrior unit was taken, and we come back with spoils, we do. And I know you're wondering what spoils we got, and again, to answer your question, I don't actually know, but I'm sure we got something. And then, just to make our lives that little bit more interesting, after raising our first scout unit, we immediately run into another barbarian outpost, so it seems to just be Barbarian City more than anything else, considering we haven't actually run into any real civilizations yet. In fact, after exploring this continent, which I seem to have found myself on, for quite a long while I have to admit, we still didn't end up finding any civilizations, so I just made another settler and just settled pretty much exactly where the barbarian outpost was. I thought in my mind that this would just get rid of the barbarian outpost, and it did, but it didn't get rid of the spearman unit that was there, so yeah, I'm a little bit fucked. Luckily though, for some reason, I'm not sure why, the spearman and scout unit that were just hanging out right in my city's borders decided to just not attack me, which was great because I didn't want to be attacked. But I mean, surely you would have just like done that, right? You would have killed me if you had the chance. I even got like a slinger unit just on the off chance that this brother would like attack me. But he only attacked my city-state neighbor and then just kind of ran off on his own. Which again is interesting, I mean, go off king. But then finally, after all of that giant waste of time essentially happened, we actually find a new civilization, which I just cannot believe. It's France, and our dear Catherine is having a lovely time hating us for no reason. In fact, I even get a pop-up later on, just straight up saying that they hate us for no reason. Which is just like, okay, well, at least the game's being honest now. At least I was right, I feel validated in this moment. But then, randomly, out of nowhere, we meet Gorgo. And I'm not being funny, how did we meet them? The entire place is landlocked. I'm assuming she's coming from the south, right? But I can't find any of her units, I can't find any of her cities. The entire place for her to go through would have to be this city-state, which she's not a suzerain of, so she can't walk through it. Who is this person? How did they meet me? And why are they talking to me? Get away from me. Now, by the way, I'm obviously, like, raising my voice and using a little bit of hyperbole to like kind of accentuate the fact that this is a bit like crazy, like, ooh, what the heck. But like, genuinely, how did this person meet me? I'm genuinely serious. I'm so fucking confused. Who are you? Oh, and also, because this is Civilization 6, these people hate me for no fucking reason again, which is just lovely, isn't it? Anyways, we continue to explore around this absolutely wondrous land which we call home, and as a result, we find basically absolutely nothing. We found a few cool spaces we could settle down on. I see a lot of horses, and I see a fair bit of iron. So obviously, my little mind thinks to myself, strategic? So I immediately start trying to produce settler units before I get the civic that allows me to produce settler units for a pretty efficient amount of time usage, we'll say. But whilst I'm trying to colonize this land, I realize to myself, I don't really like this continent. The French hate me, the Gorgons hate me, the French are already trying to settle somewhere where I'm trying to be, so why don't I just leave? So I decided to spend quite a lot of time specking into just building ships. I even specifically try my best to ensure that I trigger the inspiration for pretty much any shipbuilding related activity, to boost the amount of time it would take for me to basically make ships. And I just decided, let's just fuck off, I've had enough of it. Of course, I do spend a fair bit of time doing trade routes between my cities and, you know, building up like my cities. In fact, I spend quite a fair amount of time actually building up cities compared to the last round we did. No, I took these little ships which I've created, I've forgotten the name of them, gondolas. I'm gonna call them gondolas. I took the gondolas and we moved them right up to the second continent, which we have now discovered. Now, the reason for me sending these gondolas all across the known map is because I wanted to explore a new area. And as you can see, I actually managed to find 3 tribal villages from this. So evidently this was the correct choice. The only issue is now how do I actually collect them? The gondolas can only ride across the ocean currents. They cannot actually go across the sea yet. So unfortunately they have to follow a specific path that is actually generated by the world map, instead of just going across the ocean. This has put us in a pretty precarious situation, as there is essentially only one way in and one way out. And the way in and out is now currently being surrounded and hounded by barbarians. And I've just sent my settler unit through there to try and settle, because I want to settle on this new continent. Luckily, due to a mixture of both good, actually let's be kind to me. Let's say amazing movement by me with the gondolas and the settler unit to ensure that he would not get captured, we managed to get them onto dry land, which I am absolutely proud of myself for. Because I am pretty fucking certain if I had chose the wrong movement option here and sent him over into the ocean, he would have actually been captured, and I really wanted to avoid that. Unfortunately, my archer units kind of died, but we don't talk about that.